Years ago, Russia and China reached an important project cooperation, planning to build the Power of Siberia 2 natural gas pipeline through Mongolia, with an estimated annual gas transmission capacity of 50 billion cubic meters. However, in recent years, this project has been facing various obstacles, and even the construction originally scheduled to start in 2024 has not made any real progress. What is more noteworthy is that Mongolia's 4-year action plan from 2024 to 2028 does not include the relevant construction content of the Power of Siberia 2 project. This may mean that Mongolia has not reached a consensus on the project. However, the situation has changed recently. In September this year, the head of Kazakhstan's National Gas publicly expressed the hope that a new natural gas pipeline could be built directly connecting to China. The two sides have also launched active negotiations on this project. But it is worth noting that once this new natural gas project is successfully agreed upon, Mongolia may be abandoned. So, in today's video, I will explain why Mongolia is reluctant to join the Power of Siberia 2. And will the natural gas pipeline between Kazakhstan and China have an impact on Russia? If you find today's video interesting, be sure to subscribe to the Insider Truth channel so you won't miss any exciting videos. Now let's get into today's topic. As early as 2020, Russia planned to launch a natural gas pipeline project called Power of Siberia 2, with the aim of transporting natural gas from Russia to China through this pipeline, passing through Mongolia. The investment in this project is as high as $13 billion, and the total length of the pipeline is about 2,600 kilometers. According to the preliminary plan, the pipeline starts from Tyumen, Russia, passes through Mongolia for about 1,000 kilometers, and finally arrives in eastern China, with a total length of about 1,600 kilometers. The project was originally expected to start in 2024, with the goal of completion in 2028. According to this schedule, the pipeline should be officially put into use around 2030. After being put into operation, Power of Siberia 2 will transport up to 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas to China every year. However, just after China, Russia, and Mongolia signed a cooperation agreement in 2021, Mongolia later strengthened its relations with the United States and even regarded the United States as an important partner in the Third Neighbor strategy. As we all know, trade frictions between the United States and China have continued in recent years, and the situation has been quite tense. Faced with this situation, China is obviously reluctant to allow the Power of Siberia 2 natural gas pipeline to enter the country after passing through Mongolia. Moreover, according to international trade practices, once an energy pipeline passes through the territory of a country, the country usually charges a certain transit fee. It is understood that if the Power of Siberia 2 is put into use as planned in 2030, Mongolia may earn up to $1 billion in foreign exchange income each year through this pipeline. But for China, paying these transit fees to Mongolia is naturally a good deal if it can be exchanged for closer international relations. However, in its current form, Mongolia's relations with Western countries such as the European Union have become increasingly close in recent years, and it is even discussing the possibility of bypassing China and Russia and opening flights directly with the United States, which undoubtedly adds complexity to the Power of Siberia 2 project. Of course, this situation is obviously unacceptable to Beijing. After all, if Mongolia chooses to follow the West in imposing sanctions on China in the future, then this Power of Siberia 2 energy pipeline may also face the risk of being cut off. In this context, if China continues to agree to build this natural gas pipeline, it may not only fail to achieve the expected economic benefits, but may even waste huge investments. Therefore, this is why the news of the Power of Siberia 2 natural gas pipeline has not been started until 2024. But it is worth noting that just as Mongolia issued a statement saying that the Power of Siberia 2 project may be shelved because of China's attitude, some news came from Russia, suggesting that the project may be replanned and may even bypass Mongolia directly. So, what happened behind this? In fact, the reason behind this is still because of another neighbor of China and Russia, Kazakhstan. As far as I know, After learning that the China-Russia Power of Siberia 2 pipeline project may be shelved, Kazakhstan took the initiative to propose to build a new natural gas pipeline directly connected to China, and has signed a long-term natural gas supply contract with China. Although Kazakhstan's natural gas reserves are not as large as Russia's, it has a reserve of 3.8 trillion cubic meters, which is enough to provide China with a stable energy supply. At present, China's energy cooperation with Central Asian countries mainly relies on a Banubozoy-Shymkent natural gas pipeline, but this pipeline passes through 4 countries, and Kazakhstan only supplies 4 billion cubic meters of natural gas to China through this pipeline each year. Therefore, Kazakhstan hopes to significantly increase its natural gas supply and further enhance the economic benefits of energy exports by building a parallel pipeline dedicated to supplying gas to China. In fact, Kazakhstan's energy department has planned the construction route of the China-Kazakhstan natural gas pipeline as early as 2023. If this project is implemented, Kazakhstan will deliver 40 billion cubic meters of natural gas to China every year in the future. However, due to the existence of the previous Power of Siberia 2 project, Kazakhstan has not reached a final agreement with China. If this pipeline is successfully built, it will not only save China the transit costs of third countries, but also reduce the risk of being influenced or controlled by Western countries. In addition, adding a new natural gas import channel will also help China reduce its dependence on a single energy supplier, thereby improving the security and stability of energy supply. In contrast, pipeline cooperation with Kazakhstan is obviously more advantageous than Power of Siberia 2. It is worth noting that after China and Kazakhstan reached an energy cooperation, Russia's reaction was quite nervous. Previously, Russia has been trying to increase its influence on Mongolia through the Power of Siberia 2 project, hoping to cover Mongolia while delivering energy to China. Subsequently, the differences between China and Russia led to the stagnation of the Power of Siberia 2 project. But now China's actions show that it does not rely on Russia's natural gas resources, which is undoubtedly a huge challenge for Russia's energy exports. In this regard, Russia even publicly stated that Kazakhstan's move was intended to steal business. Some Russian media also pointed out that Kazakhstan's natural gas supply is already tight, and exporting to China does not seem realistic. So in order to ease relations between the two countries, China proposed a compromise plan. If Russia hopes to expand its market share, it can consider connecting Power of Siberia 2 with Kazakhstan's natural gas pipeline to jointly transport natural gas to China. So, will Russia accept this plan and extend Power of Siberia 2 to Kazakhstan, which is farther away? As far as I know, although Russia has not explicitly agreed to let the Power of Siberia 2 project pass through Kazakhstan, domestic news has revealed that the plan is being promoted. Moreover, there is news from Kazakhstan that the two sides have signed a new roadmap, and only the price and specific construction time are still under discussion. Judging from these news from the two countries, the two sides are obviously indeed preparing for this cooperation plan. After all, Russia is unlikely to give up China, an important natural gas market. You know, China's current demand for natural gas is still growing. Especially as China promotes energy transformation, natural gas demand is expected to increase by 45% by 2030. Therefore, Russia is likely to have realized that although Power of Siberia 2 may bring some additional benefits through Mongolia, this choice is not cost-effective compared to China's huge market. More importantly, no matter which pipeline route Russia chooses, it is ultimately to ensure that its natural gas exports have more stable guarantees and more market options. Although Russia's natural gas resources are very rich, in the face of uncertainty and political pressure in the European market, the urgency of opening up markets to the east is particularly prominent. Time is money, especially for Russia, which is in urgent need of finding new markets. For Russia, after the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, they have deeply realized the importance of the turn eastward strategy. It is still unknown when the conflict will end and when the West will stop sanctions against Russia. Therefore, if Russia wants to make up for the market vacancy caused by the withdrawal of Western countries, it must seize the huge Chinese market. According to Gazprom's 2023 financial report, Russia's natural gas exports have fallen sharply, resulting in huge economic losses. Against this background, Russia has to re-examine the route of abandoning the Power of Siberia 2 through Mongolia and consider the option of passing through Kazakhstan. However, if the Power of Siberia 2 project finally chooses the option of connecting 3 countries, China will still have to pay transit fees. If the Mongolian route is chosen, China will have to pay about $1 billion in transit fees each year. If it passes through Kazakhstan, the specific fees are not yet clear, which also brings an economic consideration to China. In my opinion, Kazakhstan has always maintained a relative balance between the United States, Western countries, and other forces. If Kazakhstan can continue to maintain this balance, it is acceptable for China to pay the corresponding transit fees. So, do you think it would be a more reasonable choice to promote the Power of Siberia 2 project through Kazakhstan? Before we end today's video, remember to hit that shiny subscribe button. This way you will receive more insider information on projects as soon as possible. Looking forward to sharing with you next time.